Hey folks, welcome back to the Lone Pine Tarot. For today's pick a card reading, we have a bit of a unique theme. We have helpful messages from nature. So if you've ever seen any of my videos before that are like messages from the universe, it's kind of similar, but today we're going to go with a nature-oriented theme with all of the decks I am using, just because I myself really am in tune with nature-oriented decks, and I have a feeling maybe some of you will too. So without further ado, let's pick our piles. For pile number 1s, I have the Fox and Ivy with adaptability. For pile number 2s, I have the Spider and Passionflower with creative ingenuity. And for my lovely pile number 3s, I have the Duck and Chrysanthemum with luck. So after meditating on these piles and seeing which card calls the most to you, as always, the timestamps for the readings are down in the description box and the top pinned comment below the video. Feel free to click on that timestamp whenever you are ready, and I'll see you in our discussion about your helpful messages from nature. Bye. Hello, my lovely pile number 1s. Welcome to your pick a card reading today that is all about helpful messages from nature. As you recall, the card you used to pick your pile today, the one that called to you, was the Fox and Ivy with the keyword adaptability. So let's reveal your oracle cards. I'm going to set your pile leader off to the left here as always, and we'll talk more about that in a minute. So first up, your animal messages oracle card is looks like the crocodile, and it says the alchemy of energy teaches that death will always yield new life. Death will always yield new life. Okay. Your sacred destiny for today is taking risks. With it looks like a hawk or maybe a falcon. Soaring off the plateau. All right. Daring to dream, right? Okay. Actually, I'm going to switch these two if that's okay. We'll do a switcheroo. And then your Botanical Inspirations card, your flower card for today is Garden Heliotrope. Heliotropium arborescens, it looks like the Latin pronunciation is. And it says, devotion and dreams fulfilled. The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. That was a quote from Eleanor Roosevelt. All right. And then let's get your tarot cards on the table, pile number 1s. Spirit, for my lovely pile number 1s, could you give me about 5 tarot cards explaining one of the helpful messages or multiple messages from nature you want them to hear about right now at this moment? Could you have them flip out or stand out, please? Okay. Okay, let's see what's poppin'. Definitely this one. We have the Eight of Pentacles, hard at work, just like the worker bee. Okay. Hard at work on something. Perhaps something to do with career, especially with taking risks. Devotion and dreams fulfilled, right? We have the Ten of Pentacles reversed. Okay. Maybe looking for something money related, career related here with all these pentacles popping out. Of course, pentacles is the suit of earth, the material world. Okay, let's see what else comes forward. We have the Two of Cups reversed. Okay, something about a relationship or our unity with our emotions or other people. And then we have, let's pick this one. Oh, okay, well that one came out too. Seven of Pentacles, another Pentacles yet again. Sowing seeds for the future. God, look at all these pentacles. This is probably work-related, pile number 1s. Something you do to your day-to-day life. And our 5th card is the Ace of Cups, a new emotion flowing forth. Okay, something new in the emotional world. I always love that Ace of Cups card because it's kind of like, it's really cool. I didn't notice this right away, but in the background there's like a mountain landscape, but then in the cup you can see the mountain landscape made all the more clear through the emotion or the water. Making the distance more clear. All right. So let me get my ducks in a row. Pile number one, what's going on here? Definitely something to do with work is the message that nature and the universe wants to share with you today. We have the Eight of Pentacles, like I said, that's being hard at work on something, a lot of structured work on something. Ten of Pentacles reversed is something to do with, it could be inheritance is one option. It can also just be material security in general, maybe a lack of material security of some sort that you've been worried about. Two of Cups is something to do with a relationship, I would think at work because of all the pentacles you've been getting, right? Or something to do with your relationship to work, right? But reversed, there's some kind of negative aspect there. Seven of Pentacles is, I'll just uncover that for a second, something about sowing the seeds for the future. And then we have the Ace of Cups, like I was saying over here, which is all about, oopsie, sometimes the mat cardstock kind of wants to stick on each other. Ace of Cups is often about a new emotion, and especially, like I said, with this deck, with it making the landscape or the mountain that much clearer. Something in the distance is a lot clearer, pile number ones. Okay, devotion and dreams fulfilled. Crocodile, death yields new life. Taking risks and adaptability. Okay, this is kind of, this is coming pretty clear, pile number ones. There's a message here that nature / the universe wants to share with you, that there's something going on in your work life, or something at least in your material world life. So most of you, that is going to be like your career or your job, right? And what I'm seeing is you're either worried or nervous because you're coming face to face with some sort of end with this thing, with this job, with this career, right? And I'm not saying that to scare you. I think this is energy that's current, so it's not like I'm not predicting that you're going to like lose your job or anything, so don't panic about that. But what I am seeing though is I think you've already kind of seen this on the horizon, maybe just recently before you came to this video, maybe even the day of, here with that Ace of Cups, that new emotion came forward, that thing was made more clear, and it's kind of like you're finally getting a crystalline, clear image of what this means for you, of this change at work. And like I said, I think it's an ending of some sort, because you got the crocodile, because it says the alchemy of energy teaches that death will always yield new life. So there's worries there about that. How will I adapt to this? Hence, the fox and ivy adaptability, because, not only is ivy a very, like all vine plants, it's a very adaptable plant where it wends around and climbs around the things that it's growing next to. So like, for example, you put ivy next to a fence, it'll grow up through the fence, and it'll kind of cling to it, or like the side of a house, things like that. And then the fox too is an animal very representative of adaptability, because one of the more traditional symbolisms of the fox here is like being clever, the very clever fox being very smart, very astute, right? So it's a very adaptable animal because it is clever about the way it goes about things, right? That's kind of why it's on that. And you even got ivy here too, with the pumpkin on the Seven of Pentacles, which it's not technically like an ivy plant in and of itself, but if you've ever grown pumpkins before, I did a few years ago myself in my garden, they're very like kind of viney plants. How do I adapt to this thing? How do I grow out? How do I spread? Where do I go? That kind of feeling. So I think what it is, pile number ones, is there's a little bit of nervousness and fear around this end of this change. How do I adapt? How do I be like the ivy or the fox in terms of what do I do about this change? Will I stay here? Will I go? Will finances be okay? Because I think with especially the Ten of Pentacles reversed, there's a little bit of a worry in your mind about, I feel like I'm kind of on, shaky foundations here with career or with money because of this change at work or my job or the thing that I do to, collect in the material world, right? Something like that. There's a little bit of a feeling of a shaky foundation in that area. Likely a very new thing here, especially like I said, with the Ace of Cups being like a new emotion, something of new energy, and it making the horizon and kind of what's ahead that much more clear. Like you can see the mountain landscape in the Ace of Cups here that much more clear through the crystalline structure of the cup itself, right? Yeah, and I think too, especially with the The Two of Cups reversed here, it's something to do also with your relationship with somebody, kind of in a negative light. It could be maybe there's a change in your relationship to someone at work. It could be a change in terms of like maybe your manager is changing, maybe you're becoming the manager, or maybe you're starting to shift into a different position, or someone that you trust in their role is shifting their position and you're not sure about who is going to fulfill it, or if you necessarily trust the person that fulfills it. There's some aspect there, pile number ones, of some sort of relationship in this area is related to this sudden new understanding or that much more clarity that's making you feel like something's kind of shaky here at work, right? Yeah, and I don't know, as a general reading, everyone's going to be a little bit different, but in general, it's something to the extent where you're feeling like you have to be kind of adaptable, or it's like a sudden rush feeling of, okay, well, what do I do now? Because all of a sudden this popped up, this Ace of Cups, this new feeling, this sudden shakiness, and I put in all this hard work with the Eight of Pentacles, like, hey, you know, what's going on here? It seems like things are working out fine. Seven of Pentacles, we planted the seeds we were supposed to, or that, we thought would bear the most fruit, or I guess pumpkins in this case, right? They're technically considered a vegetable, I guess, but you know what I mean. I'm just getting into semantics here, but yeah, so like, there's some sort of feeling of like, to some aspect of, I feel like everything I've been putting in, I thought I was going to get everything out that I had invested energy into, but now it's like my finances or this thing related to work feels shaky. Yeah. So far though, I want to tell you, pile number ones, that there is a lot of reassurance here in your oracle cards, especially. Not only with the crocodile, but taking risks here. I'll uncover that just a little bit from the other tarot cards. But also your garden heliotrope with devotion and dreams fulfilled. So fear not, there is a light at the end of the tunnel of this situation that you're feeling kind of shaky about at work, pile number ones. Number one, I'm thinking, because not only did you pick adaptability as your card, but also you got the vines, the symbolism of that repeated here in the Seven of Pentacles about planting seeds for the futures, which the Seven of Pentacles means, right? I think you'll be just adaptable, like you'll be perfectly adaptable enough to navigate this situation, and you'll be just fine. Like, I get the sense that you're the kind of person, pile number ones, from these cards, that you always find a way. Even when things seem kind of bleak or things seem kind of shaky just for a moment, right? You're a person who knows how to hit the ground running, I guess is how I would put it, especially here with your taking risks card. But the light at the end of the tunnel here, so don't feel like everything is so bleak, because I do see hope here with this situation, is that you got the crocodile, where it says the energy teaches that death will always yield new life. So whatever is ending here at work or with your career or material related things, pile number ones, in your life, be it money or job, right? It could also be something with your home, because sometimes I see that with pentacles. Usually it tends to be career or like your job. But anyways, getting back to the main point, whatever is ending here, one of the reasons it's ending, pile number ones, is because it's giving room for you to plant new seeds there, or for the universe to plant new seeds there to grow even better things in the future. Not only, you got the Seven of Pentacles down here, which, like I said, is kind of planting seeds for the future, that type of feeling. But with your crocodile, it says, death yielding new life. Whenever something ends, something is always kind of born out of the energy left behind. We even see that in, nature, speaking of nature reading, right? Where, something dies, its materials are returned to the earth, and then new things grow out of those materials. So have hope that things will be just fine, pile number ones. Have hope that there's something even better kind of coming on the wings out of the death of this thing, or the end of this thing, or the shift of energy from old to new, right? And I do see that if there's any risk that you have the choice to take in this situation, pile number ones, because not only did you get taking risks here with the image of the falcon flying off the plateau, right? But you also got devotion and dreams fulfilled. It says the future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. Like I said, that was an Eleanor Roosevelt quote. Wherever there might be risk involved or a choice you can make to take a risk, like for example, if this is starting a new business or something after the end of this current career or the end of this current job, like maybe you're considering leaving your job for a new business or something like that, or a new career entirely. This is advice from Spirit to believe in your dreams. Let the old energy or the old thing end and fly into new energy and take that risk here with, especially like your imagery of the falcon here, flying off the plateau, taking risks. Okay, so I will pull some tarot cards to get more advice, but already, like I said, with your oracle cards, don't be afraid to follow your dreams in this situation, pile number ones. Yes, things seem kind of shaky right now. Things seem kind of uncertain right now. You're not quite sure how to feel after this new sudden realization of what the horizon looks like to you has been made crystal clear. It could even be a situation where, like, you recently received information that maybe the company you work at is going to be like bought out, or like the company is kind of on shaky legs and you're kind of like, okay, well, where's my future if the company's not doing well, right? So maybe in the back of your mind you've been having a thought of, what if I started my own company? What if I finally made a leap to a different job I've been kind of looking at? Or maybe I want to leap to a different career. Spirit is saying, or nature is saying, to take that leap, take that risk, follow your dreams, because this is sort of a, how do I put it? An opportunity for you using your skills of adaptability, because I do see Spirit praising you for that here. Like, you have the ability and the strength to adapt just fine, pile number ones. You have everything you need, okay? You'll be just fine. The only step that is required from you, Spirit is saying here, is to take that leap yourself. You're the one that has to actually walk through that door, so to speak. So that's kind of what they're telling you here. But follow your dreams. Whatever it is you've been dreaming about when it comes to this, that the end of this current or older thing gives you an opportunity to try, go for it. Kind of almost like, the baby bird leaving its nest. Sometimes you have to kind of take the risk of falling to know of whether or not you can kind of fly, Okay? I'm going to get some tarot cards on here, though, to get some more, like, specific advice and less about the situation at hand. So, Spirit, for pile number ones, could you give me maybe 3 or 4 cards of advice for pile number ones, please? I just realized I said for pile number ones twice. Sometimes I repeat myself a bit. I'm like, did I say that already? Anyways. It's because I tend to do my readings late at night sometimes. If I ever sound kind of groggy, that's why. Alright, so let's see. Advice for pile number ones. We have the Emperor, yep. Be a boss, masculine energy, structure, authority, logic, be the tall poppy. Okay, don't be afraid to be the tall poppy, pile number ones. We also have the Explorer of Pentacles reversed. That is the Knight of Pentacles reversed in most decks. Normally that's slow and steady wins the race. I'm going to see what other card comes out first before I speak on that, but that might be something about not being afraid to go quickly about this. We'll see, though. We also have the Magician reversed. Okay, apologies if you do hear meowing in the background. If you viewed my other videos, sometimes... Yep, there it is. My cat really gets upset when I close the door to record. Anyways, back to your reading. The Magician reversed, that's all about not feeling like we have the tools we need. Okay. And then we have the Six of Pentacles, which is charity or equal compensation or equal distribution of things. Okay, kind of a justice, fairness card, but more in the monetary realm. Okay, advice to you from Spirit, pile number ones from nature. 1 second, I'm going to take a sip from my hot cider as I look over your cards. And my cat's going to meow as well. Okay, so advice from Spirit, pile number ones, about this shift of new energy. Okay. Yeah, I would say pile number ones. Go about this transition very methodically. And the reason I say that is because you got the Emperor as your first card. Like I said, kind of a be your own boss type of feeling with the Emperor. This is someone who is independent. It's masculine energy. Don't be afraid to be the tall poppy and rise above the rest. That's the feeling of it. Logic, authority, structure, that type of thing. Kind of like, the poppies planted in rows here, right? Things are very orderly. Go about this transition in a very methodical, orderly manner, pile number ones. Especially with the aspect of the Explorer or the Knight of Pentacles reversed here. Take your time. Don't feel rushed. I don't get the sense that this is going to be a very, like, quick decision that you have to make. So I think there is some time, especially if it is like a situation where, say, like your company that you work at currently is not doing so well, or they might be bought out, and there's kind of some question about, like, is my department going to stay? What about my job? What's the security there? Don't rush things, okay? Embody more of the Knight of Pentacles energy with the slow and steady wins the race. Be logical, structured with the Emperor here, and then to the Magician reversed is all about, like, I kind of feel like I don't have all the materials I need. Like, there's the wand, the cup, the pentacle, and the sword, which is all suits of tarot. And so kind of get things aligned, kind of get all the materials you need. Don't be afraid to stay there longer. If, say maybe for this new venture, if it's like, say, a new business that you want to have, stay there and keep making the money you want to maybe make to help cushion that new business or that transition, whatever that might be, of finding a new job or career, or maybe more money for, if you're like, let's say you want to go to university and get like a degree in something, that type of thing, too, especially because the Six of Pentacles is right next to it. And like I said, Six of Pentacles is all about equal distribution. With this deck specifically, it's like two birds' nests. So I see that as advice from Spirit not to always put, what do I always say? Not always put your eggs in just one basket. So even consider exploring more than just one option, pile number ones. It could be that, say, you want to do a new business combined with you also want to go to or go back to school, depending on your situation. It could be maybe you want to take more of a part-time job, but then also go to school at the same time. There's some sort of dual aspect here I'm seeing advised with all these cards next to the Six of Pentacles of not just putting your eggs in one basket, and also just like an equal distribution of the way that funds or like material things are managed, I guess is how I would describe the Six of Pentacles energy here. So, so it could also be something about like diversifying your income streams, hence like, maybe it's a business and a part-time job, or maybe a full-time job and then school at night, that type of thing. Depending on what's available where you live, pile number ones. But yeah. So yeah, don't be afraid to go out on your own. Don't be afraid to make that change. Don't be afraid to embody that stronger masculine energy of the Emperor of, I'm confident, I'm, outward seeking, I know how to go about this very logically and structured. Like I said before, your cards kind of already telling me you're a very adaptable person. You know how to hit the ground running, pile number one. So have confidence in yourself is kind of, another aspect Spirit nature is trying to tell you here. But go about it very methodically and slowly, and gather as many materials as you can before you make the leap. Not just for the sake of like your own comfort or your own feeling ready to take that risk, but also just because of this advice from nature, from Spirit, to diversify a little bit with all of your materials before, and collect more materials before you set out on your adventure, so to speak. It's kind of like, say like, you're a hero in a fantasy adventure kind of, and before the hero goes out, they need to collect some money and a bag of food and some water before they go. It's kind of that feeling of, I need to pack my bag, almost like the traditional depiction of the Fool in tarot, where he's got like the knapsack over his shoulder on a stick. Kind of embody that full energy of, I'm going to pack my knapsack here before I take that leap and I take that risk. But I do see a lot of success in taking this risk, pile number one. So don't have any fear in that area. It's just more about, the advice here is more about priming you for the best outcome you can with what's available to you. Making use of what's available to you is also another meaning of the Magician, right? in terms of like, say, like maybe the company you work for is going under and you see that on the horizon, like recently that came out, right? And so you're kind of like, well, you know, the company still isn't under yet. I'm going to make as much money as I can to cushion myself as much for when I finally do take that leap. I do finally kind of drop out of that nest and learn whether or not I can fly, you know, metaphorically speaking. But yeah. So yeah, be bold, pile number ones. Don't be afraid to take that risk. You're a hard worker. You're adaptable. You'll be just fine. Cushion as much as you can. Gather what you need, even just for your own sanity or feeling of safety, feeling of comfort. But take that risk and let the death of that old thing turn into materials you can use to cushion and encourage the new growth and fertilize this new thing coming in, okay? So, pile number ones, I hope that reading was helpful for you as always. I wish you a wonderful rest of your day. Good luck on your new adventure in the material world, be that a new job, a new degree, new business of your own, etc. And I hope to see you in the next reading. Bye. Hello, my lovely pile number twos. Welcome to your pick a card reading today that is all about helpful messages from nature. As you recall, the card you were drawn to for your pile leader was the Spider and Passionflower with the subtitle Creative Ingenuity. Okay, so we have is that an orb weaver spider? I'm not sure exactly what breed of spider that is, but working hard on a web between some passion flowers. We'll get more into the meaning behind that card later as we pull out your oracle cards and tarot cards. So let's first flip over what oracle cards you received. Let's see, your animal messages card here is the scarab beetle. What is unregarded or discarded holds a secret, a seed of creation. Okay. So maybe your helpful message from nature could be something about not seeing a resource available to you that is. Let's see what else pops out. Actually, I'm going to shift that one over here. Sacred destiny for today is openness. We have the moon with some constellations. I do see, it looks like it could be Aquarius or Pisces. I think that's Pisces here with the two fish. Gemini, Aries. I think that might be Sagittarius. Though I always see it as a teapot in the sky whenever I see it. But Leo. Yeah, okay. Gemini. I might have already said Gemini, but yeah. Okay, being open to something. Not seeing something useful to us. Might have been discarded. Okay. And then your botanical inspirations flower today is Magnolia. Beautiful. Nobility and self-esteem. And the quote says, "There is nothing noble in being superior to your fellow men. True nobility lies in being superior to your former self." By Ernest Hemingway, Mr. Hemingway. He wrote The Sun Also Rises, For Whom the Bell Tolls, I believe, some other books. I have read The Sun Also Rises, but yep, comparison is the theft of joy is kind of a summary of that quote. Comparison is the theft of joy. Okay, and then let's get your tarot cards on the table. Spirit, nature for pile number twos. Could you give me about 5 tarot cards explaining the situation at hand that you want to discuss? Oopsie. Okay, let's see what's popping out here. Definitely that one. We have the Emperor, which also came out for pile number ones. The Emperor, masculine energy, the tall poppy, structure, authority, logic. Okay. We have, let's see, the Elder of Pentacles reverse, which is the King of Pentacles in most decks. We have a bear here by the mountain. Beautiful. I've always loved mountains. Where I live, there are basically 0, but a few times I have seen mountains. They're gorgeous. Okay. We have the Three of Swords, okay? Can mean pain of some sort, some pain that's been hurting you recently. Three of Swords is pain, okay. We have the Ace of Swords, a new thought, a new way of thinking. A new idea, could be. And last but not least, let's see, maybe this card right here. We have the Elder of Cups, which is the King of Cups. We have a fish rising up from the mud. To the cup on the surface, Master of Emotions. Master of external emotions. Okay. Let me get my ducks in a row here. Pile number 2s. Excuse me, I'm also going to take a sip of my hot cider while I look over your cards to see your message. It's a very hot cider time of year, at least where I live, but very cold where I live. Okay. So spider, passionflower, creative ingenuity, openness, scarab beetle, magnolia is nobility, self-esteem. The Emperor, okay, King of Cups, or excuse me, Pentacles reversed with pain. A new idea. Okay, pile number 2. So what's going on here, I'm seeing illustrated by your cards, is nature and the universe, whatever you prefer, wants to speak to you about something about yourself or your ideas that you're discarding that have more value or merit than you think, is how I would summarize this reading I'm seeing right here. And the reason I say that is because not only did you pick your pile leader as the spider and passionflower, meaning creative ingenuity, and it is number 2 here, and number 2 in tarot is the high priestess, if I'm not mistaken, which means intuition or listening to ourselves, listening to our gut. You also got the moon here in openness, and the moon is highly associated with the high priestess in tarot. Kind of a repeated message here. You also got a lot of like white flowers here. The passion flower and the magnolia are both generally tend to be white flowers, right? And I always kind of associate that with the high priestess too, or like intuition, listening to ourselves, purity of thought, right? White meaning purity, right? Traditionally. So yes, there's something here where you have an idea, or there's some part of yourself that has a lot more merit or value to it than you thought. So let's start with the scarab beetle, right? So like it says, what is unregarded or disregarded, or excuse me, discarded, holds a secret, a seed of creation. So I'll just be kind of blunt here. The scarab beetle, I think, is I think, don't quote me, is also known as the dung beetle. As you can see, the picture of this one is, you know, it's rolling a piece of dung. Don't run away from the tarot reading just because we're talking about poo technically. But that's what dung beetles do, right? But what it's saying here, you know, and I think, you know, connecting to the message I was just talking about to you, pile number 2s, is that there's something in your life that you think is dung about yourself or about an idea that actually isn't. There's something that's like a secret or a seed of creation in that thing that you're discarding right now. Something that, you know, it's kind of like, what's a good example? It's kind of like when you throw something out and you realize there's still a little bit left in something before you throw it out. Like, let's say you have, I don't know, or like, let's say you're eating an apple, right? And you think you've eaten around the core entirely, but then you realize before you discard the core out, hey, wait a second. Wait a minute, there's actually a little bit of apple left on this side. So you eat that bite a little bit before you throw the whole core out, right? That kind of metaphor is what I'm seeing for you, pile number 2s. And I think it's something to do with a creative idea of yours. It could also mean, could technically mean just like an idea at work. I'm not saying anything like specific about what area, because you did get a lot of varied cards from tarot. Like, for example, if it had been majority pentacles, like pile number 1's was, I would have said definitely something to do with work, right, or material things. But you got swords, you got the cups, you got a major arcana, and you got pentacles. So I think as a general reading, a lot of you are going to have a very different thing that Spirit wants you to not throw out, or an idea that they want you to like look at again. But whatever it is, it's something to do with your creative mind, that, yeah, has been discarded, or you're thinking about discarding, but they're telling you not to quite toss it out just yet. Be open to things, be open to this idea, especially with your openness card. Be honest about it, be truthful about it, because there's a lot more value to it than what you think there is. Some of the core reason for this might be because of self-esteem. And I say that because your Magnolia card here with the Ernest Hemingway, I'll just kind of uncover that for a second. It says nobility and self-esteem, and kind of, I said before in summary of the quote from Ernest Hemingway, is the more familiar quote is, comparison is the theft of joy. So maybe one of the reasons you tossed this thing about yourself out, or you hid this thing about yourself, or this idea, is because you felt like it wasn't as good as someone else's idea, or it wasn't as good, or it was like something about yourself that you felt wasn't as good as others, right? But like I said, comparison is the theft of joy, and spirit or nature is saying here there's a lot more value to the thing about yourself or this idea than you're giving it merit. Let's see, look at your tarot cards too. The Emperor. Yep, don't be afraid to be the tall poppy on the hill, right? Structure, authority, masculine energy. Don't be afraid to be more outwardly confident with this idea, pile number 2s. You know, it could have even been that, let's see here, especially with this 3 of Swords is pain. Yeah, Ace of Swords is like a new idea, but 3 of Swords next to it is like, you know, maybe someone kind of put you down for it immediately, hence that 3 of Swords being the pain there. Like, you're like, hey, with this Ace of Swords, look at this new idea I have, isn't it shiny and great? Or look at this thing about myself. And then there might have been like an immediate reaction from yourself or others that, where there's some kind of painful moment where it's kind of like, you know, they said something about it that wasn't true, or they said something about you that wasn't true, and so that's kind of where a little bit of your self-esteem took a little bit of a hit. You're like, ugh, you know, or this idea took a little bit of a hit where it was like, oh, maybe that isn't such a good idea, but, yeah, especially, you know, and then the King of Pentacles too here, and the King of Cups. I think deep down you might kind of know that it is a good idea, pile number 2s, and the reason I say that is because you do have the King of Cups here, and that's about outward emotional stability. Like, I think you were very gracious about it. I think you were very, like, calm, like, oh, okay, well, I guess my idea wasn't, you know, the popular one or whatever, in whatever situation this was, but, or, you know, maybe I'll, you know, emotionally just be kind of calm about that thing, you know, about myself. I won't, you know, say much about it, etc. But what Spirit is asking you here is there's kind of a lack of security here with the King of Pentacles reversed. So that could be like the self-esteem thing where it did ding your self-esteem, at least on the surface, or in some way that maybe you're not even admitting to yourself yet, or that like the other people just didn't realize yet. And they're trying to kind of uplift your self-esteem by telling you that there is a lot more value to this thing that maybe you thought was dung, like the dung beetle here, the scarab beetle, we should more respectfully say, right? But there's more value to you in this manner and or this idea than you thought there was. So kind of ignore that pain, ignore that putting down, ignore that comparison. You know, it could even be something where it's like you're comparing yourself to your peers a lot, and you're like, oh God, I feel like I don't stack up, or I don't feel like my ideas stack up to them, you know, compared to people my age, that type of thing. I know I went through that a lot in my earlier 20s personally, so, you know, maybe, I don't know if that's common to everyone in their 20s, and, you know, it depends on your age as you view this, but of course there's similar things that happen at different stages of life, and I think comparison can be a theft of joy at any stage of life, of course, so, yeah, so just throw away comparison, throw away the things that people said about you, or your idea, and just, you know, we'll get to some advice cards, but I'm seeing already, like, Spirit is kind of saying, be more open to it, be more confident about it, throw away the pain associated with it, and find more security with it. Don't be afraid to be that tall poppy sticking out from the others here with the Emperor, right? And I think one of the reasons they're telling you to go for it is because with this Elder of Pentacles or King of Pentacles reversed, what it could do is not only kind of boost your confidence a bit, though that is kind of something internally you have to do, right? That's kind of where it starts out, is confidence starts within, right? You can't base it on outside things because, you know, then it can always be taken from you. But get internal confidence with this. And then there's some aspect here with the King of Pentacles where, especially if it's business related here, there could be a lot of like money or like financial security or like material gain to be made off of this thing if you do give it another chance and you don't just toss out that metaphorical apple core. Like, there's still a little bit of meat there you haven't explored yet, or you haven't given enough sunshine or a chance to grow. So give it that chance to grow, okay? Yeah, that's kind of what they're saying here for you, pile number 2s. And I think, you know, at least for some of you or most of you, it's something creative because of your creative ingenuity card, right? That you picked as your pile leader, and, you know, the Passionflower too, you know, having passion about something. It's just that maybe your self-esteem or your confidence with it kind of got dinged a little bit because, you know, someone else said something stupid, you know, like that was just offhand and they didn't realize what they were saying, you know, might have dinged your confidence a bit, or it's just maybe you didn't have enough confidence to give it, you know, the feeling of the merit that it should have gotten, you know, or that type of thing. Yeah. Okay, let's get to your advice cards, pile number 2s. Spirit, for pile number 2s, can you give me about 3 to 4 cards of advice for them on this situation? About this thing that they shouldn't disregard. Okay. We have the Eight of Cups. Emotionally distance yourself. Emotionally move on from something. Okay. That's what the Eight of Cups is all about. We have the Moon repeated here again. All right. We have the Two of Cups reversed. You know, that came out for pile 1s too. Interesting. Okay. Likely something to do with somebody else, pile 2s, hence the Two of Cups reversed. Yeah, okay. And then we have the Eight of Pentacles. Yep, hard work also came out for pile 1s. Okay. Hard at work on something. I also want to pull maybe one more for you, pile 2s. Okay. And then we have the Nine of Swords, anxiety. Okay, so pretty straightforward. Pile number 2 is nature / the universe, whatever you prefer, is telling you with this idea or with this aspect of yourself, there's some sort of I think there's some other person involved here with the Two of Cups reversed. Kind of like what I was saying before. I think maybe someone else had kind of dinged your confidence on this idea or this part of yourself. Next to the Eight of Cups, I would say maybe emotionally distance yourself from this person and or the things that the things that they say, because I think sometimes they might just say things and not really realize the effect it might have. They might be kind of what's the word? Not very careful with their words. You know, I don't necessarily see anything about like the meaning to hurt you if that was the case for you. That it was like someone that said something about like one of your ideas at just work, for example. But do just kind of emotionally distance yourself away from this person in terms of the things that they say, because just because they say something to you doesn't mean it's the truth, right? You know, their words have just as much merit as yours and others, you know. So don't take their word as gold or as the, you know, the God standard of the end all be all of, you know, what ideas are good or what traits are good and what ideas are bad, etc., that type of thing. Keep working hard on it, pile number 2s. The Eight of Pentacles is all about keeping hard at work. It's kind of the apprenticeship card, you know, making multiple things, working hard at it, putting all the effort and energy in, right? Like, you know, here with the honeybee, you know, honeybees are very like methodical and they work hard at building their hive very in a like constructed, organized manner. And then the Nine of Swords here too, anxiety, can mean depression with something, that type of thing. So I would say to reduce anxiety around this issue, and I say like the advice for that I think is that emotional distance from the things that this person says. Just kind of detach your emotions a little bit more from this and just kind of work on the more physical hard work side of it. Like don't let those doubts kind of like ring throughout your head as you maybe give this idea another go, or maybe learn to cherish this trait of yourself a little bit more, you know, that type of thing. Because I think anxiety might be kind of weighing you down because of what happened. And their advice to you is to kind of throw that anxiety out, like not to worry about, I mean, not that you can just like snap your fingers and the anxiety is gone. Like, I 100% understand that. But I think if you could just emotionally distance yourself from what this person said, the anxiety would go away. And then you could, like I said, explore this idea, you know, or be more open about this trait about yourself. And give it, you know, maybe more of the hard work that it deserves, or that, you know, that like towards the merit of it, I guess is how I would say. And I'm kind of repeating that message there, but your advice cards are pretty similar to what I was already saying before I pulled them with your first cards that popped out. Yeah, so just disregard what they say, pile 2s. Just throw it away. Yeah, that type of thing. Yeah, reduce anxiety. Work hard on it. Let me pull one more card out just to see pile number 2. Spirit nature for pile 2s. Do you have at least one more card of advice for them? Anything else? Because like I said, that's already kind of repeating things that we said. Okay, we have the Explorer or Knight of Swords as it's known in most decks. Yeah, go forth boldly with a new idea. The swords, like I said, are the mental suit of air, ideas, communication, the things that we think, the way we think. Knights are taking action in that area, or explorers in this deck, as they're known. Yeah, this is a complete go-ahead to take action on whatever that idea was, pile 2 is. Disregard what other people have said about it, and let that idea lead you. And or that trait about yourself, maybe if that's what it wasn't necessarily an idea. Yeah, go forward with it, be proud of it, take action with it. That's definitely the Knights in a nutshell, are like taking action, and then with swords, like I said, is air, which is with like an idea. Yeah, throw out the anxiety, throw out the pain of it, or at least like disregard what they said to reduce those things, and go forward. Okay. So pile number 2s, I hope that reading was helpful for you. As always, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day. Believe in your ideas, and I hope to see you in the next reading. Bye. Hello, my lovely pile number 3s. Welcome to your pick a card reading today that is all about helpful messages from nature. As you recall, the card you were drawn to for your pile was the Duck and Chrysanthemum with the subtitle of Luck. So I'm just going to set this off to the left like usual with our pile leader and weave in the message with the other messages that pop out with the oracle cards. Let's flip those onto the desk here and see what you got. Okay, your animal messages for today is the ray, so the manta ray. Counter malicious talk by casting its import from your mind. Okay, malicious talk by casting its import from your mind. All right. Your sacred destiny is adventures. Looks like a tropical jungle rainforest. Beautiful. When we all love to be on a tropical beach right now. Or maybe you are, in which case, enjoy your beach. You're very lucky. All right. And then your botanical inspirations card flower is the gladiola. Gladiolus, known in Latin. Strength of character and moral integrity. And the quote is, character cannot be developed in ease and quiet. Only through experiences of trial and suffering can the soul be strengthened, vision cleared, ambition inspired, and success achieved. That was from Helen Keller. She was both blind and deaf, if I recall correctly. Strength of character and moral integrity. Okay. And then let's look at your tarot cards. Spirit for pile number 3s, could you give me about 5 different tarot cards explaining the situation at hand that nature wants to speak to them about? Okay. Shuffle, shuffle. Let's see what pops out here. We have, let's see, this one for sure is calling our name. 10 of Cups, lovely. Happily Ever After card. That's always fun to get. We'll see what else pops out next to it, though. Very good to get next to luck. Hey, look at that. We have the 10 of Swords reversed. Recovering from a betrayal or recovering from some sort of pain. Also a fantastic card to get. Look at you, pile number 3s. We're kicking butt today. We have the 7 of Pentacles reversed. Okay. Could be something to do with putting in more work into something. Let's see what else pops out. Oh, these two are kind of popping out together, so we'll pull them both. We have the 4 of Swords reversed and the 10 of Pentacles upright. Look at you, pile 3s. Jesus. You were getting the fantastic cards today. Holy crap. Okay. And the 4 of Swords is all about, well, reversed, it's about waking up from something or moving from a period of rest into more active energy. That's kind of what the 4 of Swords is. Like the swords on the bench, right? Leaning on it. And then the 10 of Pentacles can be like the inheritance or the legacy or monetary security card. So I'll say that before I set that back over to the right. Excuse me. All right, I'm going to take a sip of my cider as I look over your cards, pile number 3s, and see what pops out. See what message is coming. I mean, things look pretty good right now, pile 3s. I don't know if you've been having a hard time and you've been hoping for a hopeful message. Well, it seems like, I mean, you got the 10 of Cups and the 10 of Pentacles and the card of luck you picked for your pile leader, right? It's always good to have, right? Okay, let's see what's going on here as I sip my cider. Luck. Okay. Oh, okay, it finally popped out at me. So, pile number 3s. There's some situation being described here by nature / spirit, whatever you prefer, universe. where, how do I put it? I think you stood up for the right thing in some sort of situation, and you feel like you're being punished for it, or you did in the past. There's some situation where, yeah, it's like you stood up for the right thing, or you did the right thing, or you stood up for somebody, and it feels like you got punished for it, or you feel like you're being punished for it. And I say that because you have these cards here of the Ten of Cups and the Ten of Pentacles. So I do see things on the mend pile number 3s. So, you know, if you're thinking that you've been coming across a string of bad luck, that's going to change for you, I'm seeing here. So that's the good news. Those are all those lovely, wonderful cards I was talking about as we were pulling them out. Getting great cards. But there is this aspect of, yeah, it's like I stood up for the right thing. I stood up for this person. I did the right thing, and I feel like I'm suffering for it. Mainly I say that because not only did you get, you picked luck as your card, which luck can mean a good or a bad thing, right? But you also got the Ten of Swords reversed here, which is the card of recovering from a betrayal of some sort, or recovering from some sort of pain. It's like, I just keep hearing, like, I did the right thing. Why did that not work out? Or why did I not succeed after I did the right thing? And it's almost kind of a feeling of, like, the universe, like, you've been feeling like the universe has punished you for something, or like it punished you for doing the right thing is kind of the feeling. Not that that's necessarily, like, true, but that's the emotions that are coming forward to me intuitively here for you, pile number 3. So yeah. And I think, especially too with your gladiola, it says strength and moral character, or strength of character and moral integrity. And it says character cannot be developed in ease and quiet. Only through experiences of suffering and pain can the soul be strengthened, vision cleared, ambition inspired, and success achieved. So, right off the bat, like I said, you got a bunch of great cards here, pile number 3s. Whatever bad luck you've been having after this good thing or this moral thing that you did, whatever bad luck has been going on, I'm seeing that fortune turning for you. And I'm not just saying that to gas you up. I mean, literally, you got the Ten of Cups and you got the Ten of Pentacles. Fantastic cards in terms of outcomes, right? Not only in the monetary sense or material sense of material security with the Pentacles, but Ten of Cups is happily ever after emotionally. So just be assured that things are on the mend, pile 3s. You're not being punished. Karma will work out in the end, or, I guess luck, as it's kind of said by your pile leader. Things will work out in the end. There will be a return of this energy from after this, like, betrayal here with the Ten of Swords reversed. It's just, I think whatever has been going on that you think has been bad luck after you did the right thing, karmically, it was actually not even related to you doing this good thing. I know it's kind of a confusing way to explain it, but it's almost like, so the universe is recognizing that you did the right thing, pile number 3s. You're the person that stood with moral character when it mattered, right? Moral integrity. You're going to be rewarded for it in terms of, reaping what you sowed with the Ten of Cups, which is emotional satisfaction, and the Ten of Pentacles, which is material satisfaction. So, if it is job related, I'm seeing, good outcomes for, like, money here, or, like, good outcomes at work at least. It's just that there has been a time of where it feels like your luck has been put to rest here, especially with the Four of Swords. That's the, their swords leaning on a bench here. And it seems like the seeds that you were trying to plant have not been working out, right? With the Seven of Pentacles reversed, it's like, I planted these seeds, I did the right thing. It could even be, if it's not necessarily a question of moral character that came up, though I am seeing that here with your Gladiola card, it's like something that you thought would work out in terms of, like, let's say if it was like a small business you started, just for example, which isn't necessarily related to moral character or not, even though, depending on the type of business, of course, moral character is important, right? You want to be an ethical person. But it's like, I put in all this money, I put in all this effort, I feel like I'm not getting the things out of it that I put in. They're reassuring you that that's going to change, that's going to mend. The time of suffering or the time of lack of luck was not a punishment of any sort from the universe. It just happened, like, or it tended to happen that way for whatever reason, of things outside of your control and things outside of, like, and maybe, I don't know, like, it's not that you thought that you, like, deserved this time of darkness or pain or lack of something or lack of luck. It's just that you felt like almost like it was the universe doing it to you. Like, why is the universe always punching down on me is kind of what I hear. Yeah, but that is changing, pile number threes. You haven't been betrayed, pile threes, with the Ten of Swords reversed here. It's just that it was a time in your life for, it could have been for like a karmic lesson, for example, where there was a little bit of a low point and now it's going to start rising and those seeds are finally going to start growing in the way that you wanted them to. You know, especially here with the Seven of Pentacles reversed being next to the Four of Swords reversed. Four of Swords reversed is active energy from a time of slowness. I almost kind of refer it to it, reversed as like the spring card, because it's like, oh, spring awakening from the winter, you know, perfect time for, I believe this video is going up in like February, right? If you watch it around that time or around the spring, right? So things will get more active, things will wake up, things will get better. The universe acknowledges you for the hard work that you've put in and your moral integrity, if that was kind of the part of the question of, you know, if you felt like almost you were being punished for doing the right thing, right? It's just that for some reason, karmically, or like the universe, it just took longer to get there, but it wasn't a punishment upon you. So if you felt like you were being punished, you're not, or you haven't been. And things are on the mend. It's just, sometimes it just takes a while for things to manifest, pile number threes. Let's look at your ray here. And your adventures card. Yeah, it's something to do with, yeah, it says counter malicious talk by casting its import from your mind. Yeah, it's almost like negative thoughts too. Like that might have been part of it where you were like, oh, I feel like I'm being punished. I feel like the universe is punching down on me, but it wasn't like that was even related to it. It was just like your own mind kind of tricking you into thinking that it was some sort of punishment from the universe when it wasn't. Yeah, that kind of thing. So no, I mean, I will pull some cards of advice here, pile threes, but one little piece of advice I'm already seeing here from Spirit from your Ray card here is to not let negative talk mentally get you down so much in terms of when things are going bad, because I think you're good at, from your cards here, you're good at planting the seeds. It's just that sometimes it takes patience before things really sprout or grow. It's not a question of you or your skill or your moral character. It's more just sometimes it takes time for the universe to manifest things. It takes time for seeds to grow, that type of theme, right? And then Adventures is interesting because Adventures is about going forth into new territory. It could have been that maybe it was like a new business for you, or some new thing in general that you were trying that was just like, I'm not getting what I'm putting out or what I'm putting into it, and you know, with all this energy and this money or time, etc., whatever it is you've been putting into it, like, why am I not getting out what I want or what I need, or, you know, that type of thing, that feeling. You know, maybe that's even why we were drawn to pick luck pile number threes, is because you're like, when is my luck finally going to turn? Like, when is the universe finally going to stop punishing me? Ugh. That type of feeling. Sorry, one moment, I'm going to take a sip of my cider, but yep, just know that the universe wasn't punishing you, and just know that things are on the mend. Ten of Pentacles, Ten of Cups, two fantastic cards to get in terms of, you know, if your question is, when is my luck going to turn? Great cards to get as an answer. Very lucky and good luck type things, right? So just have faith that things will turn around. No night lasts forever. There's always a dawn, right? Let's get some cards of advice for you, pile number threes. Spirit, besides the kind of maybe lower negative talk, internally type advice we saw, could you give me some more advice for pile number threes or nature? Spirit, whatever they prefer, but maybe 3 cards of advice here in this situation for them. We already kind of got across the message about, okay, well, there's some. We already got across the message about how things are on the mend and it seems like their luck will turn around, but maybe just in the interim advice. So these two popped out while I was shuffling. We have the Three of Pentacles is teamwork, okay. The Hierophant reversed is bucking tradition, letting go of the old. Let's see. And then we have the Elder, King of Swords, the way we think about things or the way we talk about things, externally focused as the king. Okay, let's see what's popping out here for advice, pile threes. Yes, so number one, the Hierophant reversed, bucking tradition, letting go of old energy. Typically upright, it's about, it's traditional tarot, it's like the Pope, right? It's about things passed down by tradition or like religion. It can mean religion too, but in this case, I see it as like a tradition thing, right? Reversed, it's letting go of that tradition. So, that's just another indication to me, pile threes, that things are on the mend here. Because if you have had a string of bad luck lately, or it feels like the universe has just been kind of punching down on you, it's almost like you feel like bad luck is your tradition, right? Well, the Hierophant reversed is, well, like I was saying before I pulled that, you know, there's always a dawn after the night. Like, look what's happening in this card right here. Dawn, right? I guess it could also be the setting sun, but it almost kind of looks like the dawn to me. Yeah. There's always a dawn after the night, okay? Things do not always stay the same. Is definitely the Hierophant reversed, perfectly encapsulated. Excuse me, my voice got kind of scratchy if I keep clearing my throat. And then the Three of Pentacles is about teamwork, working together. King of Swords is the way we talk about things. Yeah, so one piece of advice here, pile threes, especially with the Three of Pentacles. Like I said, that's the card of working together with other people. So one piece of advice is, like, especially if this is related to, like, you've had bad luck in, like, let's say a job or a career, especially because the Pentacles did pop up quite a lot, right? Lean more on other people in this realm. You know, you could even, like, even if it's not just something like, you know, oh, I need more help at work with my coworkers to help me more or something. It could be, you know, ask people for their input or their advice on the situation. It could be ask more people for help finding, like, if you're looking for a job, for example, you know, ask, you know, maybe someone to help you, like, as a reference or something, or ask them, you know, hey, are there any open positions at your company that might fit what I'm looking for, and I might fit what they're looking for. Lean more into that. Pile number three is at least until this tradition of feeling like, oh, the universe is punching down on me, I just have bad luck, until that's over with, which, like I said, I'm being reassured that it is. So have faith, but until that dawning comes after the night, lean on other people a little bit more with that Three of Pentacles energy, okay? What is the quote? As it takes a village to raise a child. Is that it? Something like that. For some reason I'm hearing that quote. It takes a village to raise a child, right? You can't do everything alone. No man is an island. That's another one, a good quote for that, right? You know, no man, no person can do something all alone. So don't feel like you have to shoulder this burden all alone. Perhaps part of this luck or this changing of your luck is related to another person. They're going to be the one that kind of ushers it in for you. It's like the avenue for the universe to give you this opportunity to get to that Ten of Cups, Ten of Pentacles energy of better luck. Yeah. And then the King of Swords, too, is about external air. And air in tarot is communication, our thoughts, ideas. That's just more emphasis to me, pile threes, for you when you do try to lean a little bit more on a support network here. I mean, even look like roots, right? Roots all connected, a support network, right? That's what roots are for a tree, is a support network. Literally, that popped out at me. But with the King of Swords here, that's like external air. Don't be afraid to ask things. Don't be afraid to ask for help from other people. Don't be afraid to say, hey, I have this idea. Because it could even be, even if it's not a job at a different company, it could be something like, you know, you say, hey, I have this idea for a business that I've wanted to do for a long time. And someone else in your support network here with that Three of Pentacles energy says, hey, wait a minute, I've always wanted to do that too. And then maybe, hey, you found your business partner. that type of thing. Or even if it's not necessarily job related, it could be some sort of thing you've been kind of seeking out that will be an avenue for you to find that happily ever after and that material success of the Ten of Pentacles and the Ten of Cups, right? But just go for something new with the Hierophant reversed. Lean on a support network with the Three of Pentacles. Don't shy away from working as a team or on a team with somebody else on this thing. And then, yeah, the King of Swords is all about, don't be afraid to go forth with communicating about these ideas or this thing that you're seeking, or maybe some of the struggles you've been having. Don't be worried about, or don't be fearful of going out to seek advice from other people, that type of thing. You don't have to bear this all alone, pile number threes. A lot of times, I didn't use this deck today. It's in the Lantern Oracle. I do use it in some of my other readings, but one of the best cards out of that deck is, it's called Sharing. And the message on it always says there's giving and receiving and receiving and giving. A lot of times when you reach out for help to other people, don't think of it as a burden on them. Especially I kind of see here, I don't think you're the type to often reach out for help even when you really need it, because I think you want to be independent. You want to feel like, you don't need to rely on other people, pile number threes. But like I said, there's giving and receiving and there's receiving and giving. Asking someone for their advice or their opinion or for their expertise is usually actually a pretty big compliment to them, because think about it when people ask you for advice, right? How does that usually make you feel? I've said this in other readings for other piles before, but yeah, how does it make you feel? You usually feel pretty good, right? So don't be afraid to lean on other people, because not only does that strengthen your relationship with other people, pile threes, it also opens up new avenues that perhaps you haven't explored before. There with your support network with the Three of Pentacles, your shared root system, right? With other trees, so to speak, or other people, we should say, less more metaphorically, right? Yeah, and don't be afraid to venture out with these ideas, and don't be afraid to try new things with the Hierophant reversed, okay? And then before we did see with your Manta Ray too, before we get to the Manta Ray too, with your Adventures card we saw here earlier, I was saying, it's maybe something kind of new that feels to me almost tied to what the Hierophant reversed says here, of trying new things. Don't be afraid to take risks. Don't be afraid to try a different avenue than you have before. But yeah, anyways, I just want to say that aside before I did get to the Manta Ray. The other little teeny piece of advice that I had said before with the Manta Ray was letting go of negative thinking. I think a little bit more optimism could help in this situation, a little bit more belief in the dawn after the night, because things are turning and mending for you, pile number threes. It's just that while you're in this last phase of finally having your luck change, of feeling like, oh, the universe isn't punching down on me anymore for doing the right thing or, putting in the effort, try to be more optimistic, at least until things start manifesting externally, I guess is what I would say, just to make it easier on yourself. So, you're not so down in the dumps on the way there, and maybe even hearing this message will kind of help that, because you're like, oh, finally there is that dawn through the, well, it looks like Stonehenge here, kind of, or a stone circle, I guess I should say. It doesn't quite look like Stonehenge, but there is that dawn coming at the end of the night, right? Finally. Finally, and that helps usher in optimistic thinking, right? And optimistic thinking can help us function better. Optimistic thinking can help us feel more enthused about the day as we get up for our day every day. It can help us, walk with a little bit more spring in our step, in day-to-day life, if we just have faith that things will work out just fine. Yeah, especially, remember, Ten of Pentacles, Ten of Cups, fantastic outcomes, okay, pile number threes. Things will be better. Things will get more active here with the Four of Swords reversed we saw earlier. The seeds you've planted have not been for naught, okay? You haven't been betrayed by the universe. It's just that sometimes things take time. But as always, there always is a dawn after the night here with the Hierophant reversed, okay? Lean on other people. Communicate your ideas, okay? So pile threes, I hope that reading was helpful for you. As always, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day. Have faith that things will turn out just fine. Just be a little bit more optimistic on this last little ride, okay? And I hope to see you in the next reading.